inquiry started earlier today. Um, Council, if you continue with your matter.
Thomas Franco, we were looking at exhibit VF4. I believe we're on page 11. I'm sorry. 13, I'm sorry. Please continue.
6.1, the land application number 20558, applicant, the Dallas Family Trust. One, latter dated 10th of March, should be 1882, lot of the east side of Borses Cove, High Point Road, Pembroke. Number two, copy of the notice of intention to develop land dated the 28th of February, should be 1983. Number three, letter dated the 16th of April. Again, oh, I'm sorry, this is 1992. To the Department of Planning, read the land application number 20558, applicant, the Family Trust. (6.2) Certified copy from the Registry General's Office dated the 24th of January, 1973 for deed of release dated the 8th of February, 1936 between William Thomas Francis Kappa, Eugene George Kappa, Amelia Kappa, Joseph Kappa, Mary Elizabeth Petty, John Henry Kappa, and Joseph Birch Shaw Wood. 6.3 Certified copy from the Registry General's Office dated the 13th of December, 1976, indenture dated the 23rd of June, 1936, between Mary Elizabeth Petty, widow of the late Robert Horace Petty and others, of late Peter Kappa, Spanish Point, Borses Cove, North Shore, Tula Valley, and the waterfront property. Page 14. Number 7, 16 Places Point Road, Pembroke, HM01, the estate of Richard Wood. Assessment number 123815117 for the main unit house at 16 Places Point Road, and 123815215, the apartment, the lower apartment of 16 Places Point Road, Pembroke. The two pictures here on this page outlined in red shows you the property in question. Page 15. This property is part of the estate of Richard Wood and Amelia Wood. Buildings were erected on the entire Places Point Road, Burnt House Point area to Shore Park, Spanish Point, Pembroke by Mr. Kenneth Simmons and others. 7.1 Registry General Land Transfer dated the 27th of June, 2003 with transfer notice schedule, plan of number 12 Places Point Road to Kenneth Edgar Simmons and Bruce Fraser Wilkie as trustees of the G.L. Simmons Family Trust from Kenneth Edgar Simmons and Ingrid Alpha Caroline Simmons. Date of acquisition, February 13th, 2003. 7.2.
Just a moment, Ms. Franklin. I just asked Chairman that in respect of VF4, the exhibit that we are going through on page 15 of that exhibit at 7.1, I'd ask that the persons there named at 7.1, that adverse notices are sent to them.
If you would name them, Council?
Trustees of the GL Simmons Family Trust,
Yes.
and the Ingrid Alpha Caroline Simmons, Kenneth Edgar Simmons,
Yes.
Bruce Fraser Wilkie,
That's on 7.2. Or the 7.1, yes.
Now, Ms. Franco, before you proceed further, based on your research, I know we are now referring to number 16. May I proceed, Chair? May I proceed?
Yes, you may proceed, Council. I was just taking some
Sure.
advice from Commissioner Starling.
Now, Ms. Franco, you had indicated just now in respect of number 16 Places Point Road, Pembroke, HM01, the estate of Richard Wood. You made mention, well, of certain names based on your research at the Registry General Land Office, Transfer Office. The name Kenneth Edgar Simmons, is this the said person based on your research as the one mentioned earlier in relation to lot 18? On page
Council, this is a different number 18. The first number 18 is at Bosses Cove. This is number 18 at Places Point Road.
Yes, what I'm just trying to ascertain, this is not the first time you have mentioned the name Kenneth Edgar Simmons. I'm just asking whether or not it is a one and the same.
Which page, Council?
I'm just trying to remind myself.
On page 2, Council, I mentioned
Where are you on page 2?
On page 2, I mentioned Places Point Road, but I don't mention the name Kenneth Simmons.
But it was mentioned.
Craven, just a moment.
I remember mentioning it, but I didn't find it. I do recall it's not being mentioned.
Or in fairness to the witness, probably what happened, I mentioned the name and I had asked for a notice to be issued. And probably the witness had not, in fact, mentioned it, but I had brought that name to your attention, Chairman.
I will check. Yes, there's a Kenneth Simmons regarding in reference to the government map where we looked at plot 11/9/18/7. And you had asked me to approve an adverse notice for a Kenneth Simmons. Correct.
I believe I may
I
have
believe
got,
it's the same person.
yes,
It
I may
appears.
have gone ahead of the witness with, I had just been listing the persons to whom notices had been issued. So at this time, I will withdraw the question that I had commenced asking the witness, and I'll move on, Chairman.
Yes. Yes.
7.2.
Sorry, just a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Madam.
7.2. Registry General Land Transfer dated the 25th of August, 2003 with schedule with two plans of plot 16 Places Point Road to Ingrid Alpha Caroline Simmons as life tenants, Kenneth Edgar Simmons and Bruce Fraser Wilkie as trustees of the G.L. Simmons Family Trust from Kenneth Edgar Simmons and Ingrid Alpha Caroline Simmons. Date of the acquisition, November 19, 2002. Note, Richard Wood owned and lived at Places Point with his first wife, Nancy Wood. Richard Wood was the father to Grace Charlotte Phillip Oates, née Woods.
And importantly, you will show us soon the relation between Richard Wood and yourself.
Yes, Counsel. Number 8, 18 Places Point Road, Pembroke, HM01, estate of Richard Wood. Registry General Land Transfer dated 3rd of September 2003 with transfer notice, schedule plan of number 12 Place Point Road to Bruce Fraser Wilkie as trustees of the G.L. Simmons Family Trust from Kenneth Edgar Simmons and Ingrid Alpha Caroline Simmons. Date of acquisition, June 25, 2002. Richard Wood owned and lived at Places Point with his first wife, Nancy Wood. Richard Wood was the father to Grace Charlotte Phillip Oates, née Wood.
And Richard Wood, how would you be related to Richard Wood?
Richard
How
Wood.
are you?
I am related to Richard Wood, Counsel. He is my 3 great-grandfather.
Thank you. You may continue, madam.
Page 16, 9, additional supporting documentation for 16 and 18 Places Point Road. 9.1, letter to Mr. S. Rattery, Minister of Planning, John Swan Building, Victoria Street, Hamilton, dated the 29th of June. I think this is a typo.
Night.
1978. I was physically unable to obtain further documentation for this from the Department of Planning due to the precautionary measures in place for COVID-19.
So would you just go over that correction of the date witness?
Um,
Is that now
I-
not 1798, it would be 1978? Is that
Yes,
correct?
1978.
Can make that correction.
9.2, certified copy from the Registrar General's Office dated the 24th of January, 1973, for deed of release dated 8th of February, 1936, between William Thomas Francis Kappa, Eugene George Kappa, Amelia Kappa, Joseph Kappa, Mary Elizabeth Petty, John Henry Kappa, and Joseph Bart Shawwood. Page 17. Number 10. I now refer to number 1 Newman Lane, Pembroke, HMO1, the estate of Charlotte Ellis Wood Wellman, née Saunders. The diagram here shows number 1 Newman Lane, which is outlined in red. The property was willed to Charlotte Ellis Wood Wellman, née Saunders, on her death in her last will and testament dated the 7th of February, 1967, left the property to her daughter, my grandmother, Miss Margaret Genevieve Hollis, née Wellman, who has interest real property and conveyed to her daughter, Cecilia Lynn Shanette Can, is the current owner.
And that's the person seated to your left presently.
Yes, Counsel.
Thank you.
If I may, Counsel, for the avoidance of doubt, it appears that the highlighted property is actually number 1 Seagull Lane and not number 1 Newman Lane.
That is correct. Can we make a correction here?
Thank you for that observation, Commissioner Stovall.
Thank you. Before going any further, Chairman, in respect of the said presentation, the said exhibit VF4, I'd ask that as necessary, on page 16, 9.2,
Yes.
as we trace the transfer of land. I'd ask that adverse notices are sent as related regarding the persons named at 9.2.
In looking at page 16, paragraph 9.2, the names of persons who will be sent adverse notice would be, and you can correct me, Counsel, William Thomas Francis Kappa, Eugene George Kappa, Amelia Kappa, Joseph Kappa, Mary Elizabeth Petty, John Henry Kappa, and Joseph Shorewood, is that correct?
Yes. It is correct. What I'd ask at this time, however, before an order is made, in light of the year that appears and the deed of release and the time that would have elapsed to know,
Yes.
I fathom, I guess, that some of these persons may be in another life at this time.
Yes, Counsel, that's correct.
In light of that, you would hold that in abeyance?
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes. Noted, but that will be held in abeyance. No adverse notice will be sent at this time.
Very well. You may proceed, Madam.
10.1, land transfer notice dated the 28th of September, 2018, with attached schedule and plan of portion of land for the above-mentioned property is currently owned by Robert Everton Maury Kennedy. The above-mentioned name of this notice was transferred from John Arthur Maury Kennedy, Calvin Raymond Wellman, executors of the estate of Ines Ruth Caroline Kennedy, deceased.
I'd ask Chairman for an adverse notice in relation to page 17, 10.1, to Robert Everton Murray Kennedy and the estate, the executors of the estate of Ines Ruth Carolyn Kennedy.
Yes, as requested, adverse notice to be sent to Robert Everton Murray Kennedy and the executors of the estate of Ines Ruth Carolyn Kennedy, deceased. Yes, Counsel.
You may proceed, Madam.
Page 18, 10.2, voluntary conveyance dated the 15th of June, 2003, from Margaret Genevieve Anastasia Hollis to her daughter Cecilia Lynn Shonette Can. 10.3, voluntary conveyance dated the 16th of July, 1951, from Charlotte Ellis Wood Wellman to Margaret Genevieve Anastasia Hollis, her daughter. 10.4, in the Supreme Court of Bermuda, 1928, in the matter of the estate of Arthur James Saunders, deceased, and in the matter of the Petitions Act, 1855 and 1914, the petition of Charlotte Ellis Wood Wellman, dated the 7th of July, 1928.
Now, is there any, as reference on, I make reference to page 18. Do you recognize the name Arthur James Saunders?
Yes, Counsel.
Who is that? Can you say?
Yes.
Who's speaking now?
Lynn Cass.
Cecilia Lynn Chernette Can.
Yes, go ahead, Madam.
Yes. Arthur James Saunders was the grandfather, well, my great-great-grandfather, the father of my grandmother, Charlotte Alice Wood Wellman,
Thank you.
okay, niece Saunders.
Thank you very much. And just to be reminded that 10.3, Charlotte Alice Wood Wellman, who is she?
Charlotte Alice Wood Wellman was my grandmother, the mother of my mother, Margaret Genevieve Anastasia Hollis Nee Wellman.
Thank you very much. And 10.2 is Margaret Genevieve Anastasia Hollis. That's your
That was
grandmother.
No, Margaret Genevieve Anastasia Hollis
Yes.
was a Wellman, and she was my mother.
And she, by At 10.2, she transferred property to you directly,
Yes, yes.
and that's where you presently reside.
No, I do not reside there, but that's the property that I would like to get sorted out.
So that property, on the 15th of June 2003, it was conveyed to you.
Yes,
However, someone else is in occupation now.
yes.
You would like to get that person out?
No, but I definitely want it known that we are the owners of the clear ownership. I would like to have that straightened out.
And in relation to this, and I want, when I say this, could you just tell me where exactly is this property located?
This is Felder Franco. This is the property that I mentioned on page 17, number 1 Newman's Lane, Pembroke, HM01.
That is what is projected now on the screen?
Yes, but it's the one that's on Newman Lane and not Seagull Lane, which is marked incorrect.
Could you just, no, just. No, yeah, I want to see the road.
It's,
Yeah, so it's actually on Seagull Lane.
No,
No.
Council, it's actually on Newman Lane where it says 1 and 3,
yes,
but it's incorrectly marked on Seagull Lane.
So the 1 and 3, you're making reference to Newman Lane, and not the 1 and 3 that is referenced on Seagull. Okay,
That's
so
correct.
Newman.
Councillor, could I just say something?
Please just identify yourself so the record
Yes.
will.
That property borders
Please, just
Oh,
state
sorry.
your name so the record
Oh,
will indicate
yes.
that who is speaking.
Cecilia Lynn Chanette.
Go ahead.
Okay, can. The property borders Seagull Lane. The
Okay.
whole property borders Seagull Lane. And it's on the actual homestead is actually on number 1 Newman Lane.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just trying to ascertain when we had started. We were with what is exhibit VF1. Some initial questions had been asked, and the evidence given was that the property was owned by Mrs. Margaret Genevieve Hollis Nee Wellman and passed on to her daughter, who is the current owner, Mrs. Cecilia Lynn Can JP. We have been given an assessment number 123455014, the address 1 Newman Lane, and we got also the grid reference number. What I'm just trying to clear up. I had asked a question earlier whether of all the properties indicated, if this one was one that you owned and you're able to exercise all legal rights to. The answer had been yes earlier, but you're now indicating that in relation to this property, you wish to have it sorted out. I'm just trying to understand.
And what I saying
Yes.
Council, this is-
Councillor
let me,
Cecilia Lynn Can.
Speak it, yes, sir, yes.
I am the now owner of the property at 1 Newman Lane
Right.
and hold the title deeds to it.
Okay. 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 All right. So as just didn't understand, you said sort it out. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Ms. Franco, you're saying something, or you want to continue?
I'm good, Council. I can continue if you wish.
Now we're on page 19.
Page 19, number 11. 1/4 of an acre of land in Pembroke Parish. Property belonged to Miss Grace Charlotte Phillip Oates, who had in her possession the original deeds of the land.
Now, as projected on the screen, you have area on the left, which has a red line delineating the area. That is the area that we had gone through earlier, correct?
Yes, Council.
Now, on the right, the line is not, it does not extend all the way on the
That's cor-
photograph. Could you just explain that? What exactly are you showing us on the right hand side?
On the right-hand side, Council, I'm showing that the deeds outline that this is the property that is owned from Spanish Point Road to the Tula Lane side, all the way along the waterfront to Tula Lane on the other side.
But one side is open. That's what I'm asking you. Is there, where does it end?
At this point, I cannot define the actual boundaries because I need to research this some more.
Okay. Please proceed.
11.1. The release deeds for about 1/4 of an acre of land in Pembroke Parish dated the 23rd of November, 1877 between Peter Capper and Mary Jane, his wife, to Thomas Miles, dated the 16th of February, 1934, recorded in the Book of Deeds, number 47, page 323. I have the original deed. 11.2, certified copy from the Registry General's office dated the 24th of January, 1973, for deed of release dated the 8th of February, 1936, between William Thomas Francis Capper, Eugene George Capper, Amelia Capper, Joseph Capper, Mary Elizabeth Petty, John Henry Capper, and Joseph Birch Shaw Wood. 11.3, newspaper ad for December 29th, 1978. Miss Margaret Genevieve Anastasia Hollis, née Wellman, states, great aunt, Miss Grace Charlotte Phillip Oates, née Wellman, is a descendant of the owner of the Mills Creek property. 11.4, schedule of documents from the office of Smith, Bernard, and Deal, dated May 17th, 1977, signed by Genevieve Hollis, also known as Miss Margaret Genevieve Anastasia Hollis, née Wellman, returned to Grace Charlotte Phillip Oates, née Woods.
You may proceed, madam.
Page 20, 11.5. Certified copy from the Registry General's office dated the 13th of December, 1976, indenture dated the 23rd of June, 1936, made between Mary Elizabeth Petty, widow of the late Robert Horace Petty and others, of late Peter Capper, Spanish Point, Bosses Cove, North Shore, Tula Valley, and the waterfront property.
No. Before we go to you taking us through VF5, you spoke earlier in relation to a number of the submissions of having the original deed. What I'm going to do is just ask you for each of the items which forms the basis of your claim How many original deeds do you have?
Just give me a moment, please, Council.
Pardon me?
1 moment.
Sure.
Two of the original deeds, Council, with me.
And you have others elsewhere?
There is one other, but it's in pieces, so I have to figure out how to put it back together.
So the two you have, could you tell me for what? And we're going to just ask, after you indicate, going to just ask you to take your time and open them so they can be shown to the commissioners.
Yes, Council. The one I have in my hand is dated the 3rd of July, 1884. Anna Amelia Wood.
Not so fast.
Sure. Anna Amelia Wood and others to John Oates. Conveyance of a parcel of land at Boyce's Cove in Pembroke Parish.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you to repeat that slowly though.
Dated the 23rd of July, 1884. Anne Amelia Wood and others to John Oates. Conveyance of a parcel of land at Boyce's Cove in Pembroke Parish. Recorded in the Book of Deeds, number 32, pages 323, 324, 325, and 326.
That is the very last one we just dealt with. Could you just go back? We had just dealt with. Okay.
Are you reference to Newman Lane? No, this is in reference to number 11, 9, 7, and 18 at Boyce's Cove.
Okay, so thank you. The deed that you're making reference now to, could you repeat that for me? It relates to what?
It relates to number 11, 9, 7, 18 at Boyce's Cove, Pembroke.
Thank you. And as far as you're aware, none of the persons, none of the descendants to whom the property which you spoke of earlier has been passed, none of them have sold any part of what you reference of lots 9, 11, 9, 7, or 18.
That's correct, Consul. They have not been sold, gifted,
Okay.
given away, transferred to anybody else.
Thank you. And the second deed you mentioned, well, before we go there, could you just, the deed be shown to the commissioners? How many pages? Well, sorry.
12, 2 seconds. That's right. There's a reference in the back. There's a notation on the back of the deed I was looking at, Council. Just let me look at the back of the deed there.
It's actually one page.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Flip.
Stamps.
There's a notation on the back there.
No,
Careful.
actually, it's the title. So let's,
Yes. Careful.
yeah.
Do you have a copy of that document there, Madam?
Yes, Council.
Yes, yes, if you,
It's hard to read.
yes, if you retain this and we graciously hand it back. I know it's a valuable document, so
But-
we'll be happy to
Could we have the
get
copy?
the copy, yes.
I'm just going to ask, the copy and the original could be handed back to the chairman. He just needs to certify the copy.
Council, in the information that I gave you earlier for number 11, Bosses Cove, the copy would be in there.
Sure, certainly. Just a moment. This pen. No, don't just take a photo if you want.
It's the one with the big clip on it.
Just take a turn.
This is the one we just saw.
Right,
Oh, this is a copy, yes,
right. So it's a little more legible.
yes.
Recorded.
Council, did you want to record this as an exhibit?
I wish
with-
to do so, but
With the
I
signature or at this time or?
at this time, I just ask that it could be verified that what is present with you is a copy of
Yes,
the original, and once it is,
yes,
you
correct.
verify that it is,
Yes,
then
it
I
is.
ask that you could certify that it's a true copy of the original, and the
Right.
original could be then returned to the
Yes.
witness. Sure that all the pages are there. Seven. All pile. Want to return.
Number
I'm saying it's not to
32.
put back all pile to return here.
It won't be dated as well. Can you see?
July 1884.
Yeah,
If you could look at it with your fresh
yeah,
eyes,
that's good.
that date, if you just check the date, for me, please.
July 3rd, 1884.
Just sign it and-
You need me to sign it?
Yes, just as a witness, yes, just a witness, my signature. And so you just sign.
The application, Chairman, is the copy of the original deed dated 18 3rd of July, 1884. From Anne Amelia Wood and another to John Oates. That asks that it be tendered and admitted as exhibit VF6.
The deed, a copy of which we have, the original deed dated July 3rd, 1884, be tendered as exhibit VF6.
Thank you. Could I just ask for a 5-minute recess? 5 minutes.
Yes, would you want us to adjourn for 5 minutes?
Yes, 5 minutes.
Yes. Witnesses, the council has asked for an adjournment of 5 minutes. You can remain in place
Thank you.
and we'll return.